From the Valley's News Channel, this is Channel 5 News This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, November 30th. I'm Dina Herrera Garza. If you're just waking up right now, folks, temperatures outside feeling very nice. That's how excited I am this morning, Samara, because it's great outside.
Plus, you know, it's the middle of the work week. It's the last day of November. We got a lot going for us today. Cold front past the valley, and now we're having the winds pick up this morning, so it is going to be rather breezy when you step outside. Winds are out of the north-northwest, anywhere between 10 and 14 miles per hour, gusting a bit higher than that in the 20-mile-per-hour range this morning. They're going to continue to remain elevated throughout the day, gradually slowing down later on this evening. So get ready for a breezy day, and it does make it feel a bit different outside because temperatures are rather cool. We're in the mid to upper 60s, and our dew point values are down in the mid to upper 40s. So yes, it feels nice out there, crisp, nice start to the day. Temperatures over the next few hours will drop a few more degrees down to around the mid to lower 60s, and then we start to warm up right around mid-morning, about 69 degrees, and we'll keep warming up from there. Around noon, we'll be up near 72. 77 is your daytime high. As we head into the second half of the day, we'll be a little less breezy, and then cool around 6 o'clock near 69 degrees, and the skies are relatively clear out there, and it looks like it's going to be a chilly night on tap. So beautiful day, chilly night, and then we have changes coming just in time for the weekend. We're tracking another cold front. We'll have a closer look at that coming up.
Our top story at 6:02, the HEB in Palmview is expected to reopen in just a few moments, just 2 days after a deadly shooting that left 3 others injured. Channel 5's Gabriela Garza is live in Palmview with the latest. Gabriela.
Good morning, Dina. Right now we are actually outside of the HEB here in Palmview, and right now staff are starting to remove the barricades that are blocking the entrance to the store. The shooting happened on Monday morning. Police say that employee walked up to the building and fired through the windows, hitting 4 people. The 25-year-old suspect told police he felt that everyone was out to get him. Investigators say that paranoia led to the shooting. 1 person was killed. 2 others remain in critical condition in intensive care this morning. The 4th employee is recovering at home. We have learned HEB will have counselors on site to help their employees deal with the aftermath of the shooting. HEB spokesperson Linda Tovar says nothing like this has ever happened in HEB store operations. The company will take strong action to uphold the safety and security of all HEB partners. HEB also plans to reach out to the victims and their family to provide assistance and support. The 25-year-old suspect remains jailed this morning, charged with 1 count of murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. Live at the HEB in Palmview, Gabriela Garza, Channel 5 News this morning.
Neighbors in Progreso are reacting to the news of what police are calling a possible murder of an elderly man. A caretaker found the 65-year-old dead in his wheelchair Monday afternoon. According to authorities, a blood trail was found, prompting suspicion about the man's death. We spoke to one man who lives just down the road. He didn't want to show his face, but said a murder hasn't happened in that neighborhood since he's lived there.
I've been here for 23 years. If what they said is true, there's some fear that something like that can happen again.
The police department is working with the Hidalgo County Crime Scene Investigations team to find out more about the blood trail found. They're mainly looking at the blood's DNA. Police are still waiting for the results of a toxicology report, which could take up to 31 days. Harlingen police are working to figure out how thieves are stealing some very specific vehicles. They say the criminals aren't showing any signs of forced entry. Officer Larry Moore says they've seen an increase in thefts over the past 2 months, especially in cases involving Dodge Ram pickup trucks and Jeep models from 2009 to 2013. Moore says thieves are targeting vehicles parked at homes, apartment buildings, and businesses.
We haven't been able to confirm yet how they're getting these vehicles, and we are working on it. We've assigned our investigators, and we are following through with not only the victims, we're also in contact with the customs at the bridges. We're trying to confirm where they're going, how they're getting across, if they're going into Mexico in the first place.
Moore says vehicle thefts go up this time of year. He says once a vehicle is crossed into Mexico, it's extremely tough to recover. Closing your windows, locking doors, and not leaving valuables inside the vehicle can help deter these criminals. This morning, the clock is ticking for protesters at the Dakota Access Pipeline. The U.S. Army Corps of Engineers has issued a December 5th deadline for them to leave the area. But protesters are refusing to leave. Yasmin Ammer has more.
After nearly 5 months of protest, officials are turning up the pressure, telling demonstrators to leave now or face the consequences. But neither the official warnings nor the howling winter weather seem convincing. The Morton County Sheriff's Department warned protesters Tuesday that they'll start blocking supplies and people from entering the campsite. A spokeswoman for the department later clarified that they'd only stick to punishing trespassers. Members of the Standing Rock Sioux tribe who originally filed the lawsuit against the pipeline say they're not budging.
Water is sacred, but it's also good business to protect your water resource.
North Dakota Governor Jack Dalrymple warned protesters about the winter weather, which will only get worse. He said that first responders will no longer be responsible for rendering aid to those who stay. 17 Native Americans who've served under the Obama administration signed a letter asking the president to step in and allow protesters to stay. The CEO of the company building the pipeline is also weighing in, trying to convince protesters the pipeline will be safe.
This pipeline is being built where two existing pipelines exist today that were built through your state in 1982. We've not disturbed any historical sites.
I'm Yasmin Ammer reporting.
About 2,000 veterans will say they will go to Standing Rock next week to protect the protesters from eviction. 27 property owners are waiting to hear back from the International Boundary and Water Commission after they were told they'd have to move their homes. Property owners in Zapata County met with the commission after they received a letter stating they're encroaching on the flood zone in Falcon Dam. The owners have until mid-January to move their homes and leave.
If it were one home, I would understand that. But there are, from what we can tell, between 300 and 400 violations along the entire United States side of the reservoir.
Channel 5 News spoke to some of the property owners, and they say they're not moving. The IBWC says the meeting allowed them to explain their position and exchange information with the owners. Roma is trying to annex nearly 1,000 residents, but people living in the area want the city to leave things the way they are. The city's charter allows them to fix or extend the boundaries of city limits. The annexation comes with new city services and a new city tax. Residents are fighting the move.
So right now we only pay county and school, and to have another tax added to, it's going to hinder some families, because I know that some families, they're not able to even pay the taxes on time.
City Manager Crisanto Salinas says the land needs to be annexed to have economic growth. They're expecting to collect close to $55,000 in new tax revenue.
They will be paying a tax bill, but in the savings they'll be incurring because of the reduction in water and the utilities, water and sewer, and the additional service of the solid waste, that'll probably make them break even.
City commissioners will vote on the annexation December 14th. We'll keep you posted on the outcome. An Edinburgh man says a package he sent his daughter in California 2 months ago is nowhere to be found. Jose Vilma sent his daughter a triathlon watch and a poster through Quips and Quotes in McAllen and paid for a signature confirmation label. He says the monetary loss of the watch is not as great as the sentimental value of the poster.
What was irreplaceable was the handmade posters that I had done for her that only a runner could relate to. As soon as we walked out of Quips and Quotes, there was no way to track the package. The Quips and Quotes can't tell you, the post office can't tell you where it disappeared off the radar.
The owner of Quips and Quotes says the scanner that tracks packages was discovered to be defective back in July. He also says the information on the package wasn't transmitted to the Postal Service, and the U.S. Post Office confirmed they have no record of the package. In a statement, they said their consumer affairs personnel will follow up with Vilma. It is 6:10. Construction of a memorial park in Brownsville is underway. The Tres Angeles Park is a site where 3 children were brutally murdered. In 2003, John Allen Rubio and his common-law wife Angela Camacho killed their 3 young children, Julissa, John, and Mary Jane, in their apartment. And after the building was knocked down in May, the city decided to build a community park as a tribute to the children. Plant beds are already at the site located at 8th and Tyler. Rubio is on death row while Camacho is serving 3 life sentences. This morning, the caravan carrying the remains of Fidel Castro will begin its journey to his final resting place. We've got the latest from Havana in minutes.
And a live look outside shows traffic very light at this hour. What you don't see are the cooler temperatures, and you don't see that north wind blowing around, but it is. We'll have a closer look at how that'll impact the rest of your day, plus your weekend forecast as Channel 5 News This Morning continues.
Plus, we want to remind you, if you have a tip or a story idea, give us a call or send us an email. You can reach us at 1-866-797-TIPS, or we're just a click away at tips@krgb.com.
Breaking news, breaking stories. This is Channel 5 News with Dina Herrera Garza, Alan Campbell, and First Warn 5 Weather with meteorologist Samara Kokinos. This is Channel 5 News This Morning. And now, First Warn 5 Weather with meteorologist Samara Kokinos.
It is 6:14 on this Wednesday morning, and we have a lot of changes to tell you about, and it starts with this morning. We had a cold front move through, and now a lot of the clouds that were overhead are clearing out, and we'll have a good amount of sunshine to warm us up today, but it's going to feel quite nice when you go outside, but a little chilly this morning. So have your jacket and then jeans and t-shirts for the rest of the day. It's right around 62 degrees in Escobares. Good morning to you in Elsa and Rangerville, where you're waking up at 67. It's 68 degrees right now in Sebastian. Over the next hour or two, temperatures will continue to go down a few more degrees before we begin to warm up. That cold air is being ushered in from the north. Taking a look at our winds right now, anywhere between about 7 and 15 miles per hour out of the north-northwest, gusting in a few cities. Take a look at this. Your wind gusts are up near 20 miles per hour in Edinburgh, 22 mile per hour wind gusts in Brownsville, and 16 miles per hour here in Westaco. So as the day goes on, your winds will remain elevated throughout the day. And if you're headed out for your early morning jog, plan on the wind giving you a little bit more of an exercise if you're jogging out there this morning, because the winds are going to remain elevated throughout the day today. Here's a look at that cold front. It's situated to our south, and a lot of the rain staying to the north and east over the southeastern United States. But behind, dry air is filtering into the valley and across Texas, so we're not going to see rain just yet. High temperatures will look a lot like this. 74 on the island today to 76 in Brownsville, 77 when you get into Westaco, Harlingen, and Raymondville, 78 in Edinburgh, as well as Rio Grande City, and 79 this afternoon in McAllen. Beautiful afternoon, low humidity, so that's always key to a gorgeous day, and plenty of sunshine, but it will be breezy, so if you have longer hair, pull it back. Now, a peek at the weekend shows that we have cloudy skies and rain showers in the forecast. Also a temperature dip. We go from 81 on Saturday to 66 on Sunday. We have another front headed our way. So we look at future track and we get rid of this one. It just continues to move to the south. That cooler air will move in this afternoon, and it'll keep things feeling very, very nice, around average for this time of year. Now watch, the cooler air leaves by tomorrow. It still feel nice. Our dew point values still aren't going to rise tremendously, but you will notice that the moisture is increasing by the cloud cover that we will have tomorrow. And then as we head into the end of the work week, this is 4 in the morning on Friday, notice that the system develops over Mexico. That will increase the cloud cover, and it'll also bring us a chance for rain. So this particular system, although it starts out as a warm front, there will be a cold front that'll move through late Saturday going into Sunday, and that's the front that'll cause temperatures to dip down. But notice that the rain showers don't go anywhere. So if you're headed out this weekend, plan on carrying your rain gear. Along the coast today, we have small craft advisories for the Bay and the Gulf waters. The Bay until noon, Gulf waters through 6 o'clock tonight. So elevated winds make for hazardous seas. Be safe out there. Here's your 7-day forecast. We'll be at 77 today, followed by 53 later on tonight. A bit chilly if you're headed outdoors. Partly sunny near 79 tomorrow. 80 by Friday, 81 on Saturday, but notice showers and thunderstorms pick up a little bit more, and they'll be off and on throughout the day on Saturday with a 60% chance for rain. The rain chance goes down as we head into early next week. We'll see gradual clearing, but still a few showers around on Sunday. Temperatures right around 66 there for the daytime high, back to the mid to upper 70s. As we head into Tuesday of next week, it begins to dry out, but this weekend, definitely have your rain gear on standby and ready to rock and roll, just because we will be needed. We'll have a closer look at the hurricane outlook coming up in just a few minutes.
Colombian officials have revised the death toll from a charter plane crash in Medellin, now saying 6 people survived the crash. The story next. Welcome back. It is 6:20. Today, the caravan carrying Fidel Castro's remains will begin its journey across Cuba. This as the island nation continues its official mourning period for the dictator. ABC's Marcia Gonzalez reports from Havana.
In the crowd of thousands, beneath waving Cuban flags, tear-streaked faces at this massive memorial rally honoring Fidel Castro.
Fidel is an example for me. I love that man.
His brother, Cuba's current president, Raul Castro, on stage in Havana's historic Revolution Square, joined by more than 20 world leaders. Those who spoke and many in the crowd praising the 90-year-old who died Friday, reflecting on what they see as the legacy of his nearly half a century in power.
It's our big father, you know. He's was a great teacher.
With no acknowledgement of his regime's oppressive practices and human rights abuses reported to this day. This woman saying her father was just beaten and thrown in jail in Cuba for not paying tribute to Castro at this public memorial. Now the memorial is continuing as the caravan carrying Castro's ashes begins its trek across the country ahead of a private funeral on Sunday. Marcia Gonzalez, ABC News, Havana.
New details on the deadly plane crash in Colombia. This morning, Colombian officials have revised the death toll. They now say 71 people were killed in the crash. 6 people survived. Airport officials say 4 people who were on the passenger list actually missed the plane in Bolivia and have been accounted for.
Look at your early morning temperatures, mid to upper 60s and low 70s. It feels a lot better out there this morning. It's cooler and the humidity is lower. We'll show you how the rest of your day pans out. Plus, it's the last day of hurricane season. We'll show you where we're at in an overview coming up.
And now, First Warn 5 weather with meteorologist Samara Kokinos.
The time is 6:24 on this Wednesday morning. We're halfway through the work week, and a cold front moved through earlier this morning, dropping our temperatures down, so you need a jacket as you head out the door. Let's take a look at your early morning temperatures. Escobados, you're at 62 degrees, 67 when you get into Elsa, Sebastian, and Rangerville. The difference, the dew point values are down in the mid-40s, so it feels a little bit better out there, a little bit more crisp or fresh. And we do have north to northwest winds picking up, and they'll continue to remain elevated this afternoon, anywhere between 9 and 18 miles per hour, gusting in the mid 20 mile per hour range. So today will be rather breezy, and that north wind will feel a lot cooler, but daytime high temperatures will be right around average for this time of year. We'll be at 64 degrees this morning, going up to 72 by noon. 77 will be your daytime high, falling back to 73 and a little less breezy for your drive time home. So absolutely beautiful day in the valley. Looking at the coastal forecast, because of the elevated winds, we have small craft advisories for the Bay and the Gulf. The Bay will be rough this morning, and that advisory will last through noon. Offshore waters will range between 6 and 10 feet because of those gusty winds, and they could even be gusting up near gale force for you mariners. So please be safe if you're headed out there. You'll see waves up near 6 and 10 feet. That advisory is in place through 6 o'clock tonight. We're taking a look at the tropical satellite. Everything is quiet in the Atlantic and the eastern North Pacific. Now let's take a look here. Today is the last day of hurricane season. When we look at the actual forecast that NOAA put out earlier this year, they said 10 to 16 named storms, 4 to 8 hurricanes could form, and of those hurricanes, anywhere between about 1 and 4 of those could become category 3 hurricane or bigger. So far this year, to recap, 15 named storms. That falls within that forecast, and we had 7 hurricanes, 3 of which were major hurricanes. Those were Gaston, Matthew, and Nicole. And we also had 8 tropical storms and a tropical depression. So yes, that falls right within that forecast from earlier this year. and it looks like we're going to have a quiet end to the 2016 season. Looking at the rain chances over the next couple of days, it starts to go up. By Friday, we're up near 40%. Over the weekend, we have this cold front that'll make its way through, and it'll drop temperatures, but it'll also lock in the cloud cover and keep the rain chances around. We'll go from 81 on Saturday with a 60% chance for rain down to around a 30% chance for rain on Sunday. And look at your daytime highs there, 66 degrees. So get ready to use the rain jackets, the umbrellas, and the rain boots for Friday, Saturday, and much of Sunday. We'll have a closer look at the rest of your 7-day forecast in the next half hour.
It is 6:27, and here's the latest news coming off the wires at this hour. Massive wildfires in Tennessee continue to burn. The fire in the Great Smoky Mountains is being blamed for at least 3 deaths and the destruction of at least 150 buildings. Police went door to door telling people to leave the town of Gatlinburg, where 12 people were injured by the flames. This morning, more than 14,000 people remain evacuated. 3 people were killed in a severe weather outbreak in Alabama overnight. Officials say it appears as several fast-moving tornadoes touched down in the state after dark. All 3 deaths were in one mobile home in the town of Rosalie, which is in the northeast part of the state. The National Weather Service will be surveying the damage later this morning. And police in California have recaptured one of 2 inmates who sawed their way out of jail last week. Investigators say LaRon Campbell was taken into custody late last night. The search continues for Rogelio Chavez this morning. The pair were among 4 inmates who broke out. The other 2 were recaptured just hours later. And that's the latest news hot off the wire. We're going to be back with all of your local headlines in just 2 minutes. You're watching Channel 5 News this morning.
From the Valley's News Channel, this is Channel 5 News This Morning.
Good morning, everyone, and thanks for joining us on this Wednesday, November 30th. I'm Dina Herrera Garza. We've got a lot of news to cover this morning, but first we're going to get a quick check of our weather with First Warn 5 meteorologist America Keenis, who's busy tracking some really nice temperatures at this hour, but you're still going to need that light jacket this morning.
You're right, Dina. We do need jackets, jeans, and T-shirts for the day. It's a bit cooler out there. We had a cold front move through earlier this morning, and now our temperatures continue to fall. Right, we're around 64 degrees in Wesco, 67 to start your day in McAllen and Harlingen. And good morning to you in Brownsville, where it's currently 70 degrees. Your dew point values, look at that, 43. Yes, that's where we'd like our dew point values to be. So we put that on the First Warn 5 muggy meter. That's at the bottom of the dry category, almost off the chart there. Yesterday, when we woke up around this time, it was 69. So we were at the top of the muggy category, and boy, could you feel it out there. It was pretty sticky and pretty hot all day yesterday. We had record-breaking temperatures in Harlingen and McAllen yesterday, but it doesn't look like we'll be getting up near record-breaking heat today. We'll be at 74 on the island to 76 in Brownsville, 77 when you get into Wesco, Harlingen, and Raymondville, 79 today in McAllen, and 78 in Rio Grande City and Edinburgh. The winds will be out of the north-northwest, pretty breezy this afternoon, 9 to 18 mile-per-hour winds gusting up near 25 miles per hour from time to time. Will be absolutely beautiful, plenty of sunshine, but we do have some rain in the extended forecast. We'll have a closer look at that in minutes.
Leading our news at 6:32, just minutes ago, the H-E-B in Palmview reopened for business. It had been closed since a deadly shooting on Monday that left 3 other people injured. Channel 5's Gabriela Garza is live in Palmview with the latest. Gabriela.
Good morning, Dina. Right now we've actually seen a few people make their way into the store after the shooting that happened on Monday morning. Police say an employee walked up to the building and fired through the windows, hitting 4 people. The 25-year-old suspect told police he felt that everyone was out to get him. Investigators say this paranoia led to the shooting. 1 person was killed. 2 others remain in critical condition in intensive care this morning. The 4th employee is recovering at home. We have learned H-E-B will have counselors on site to help their employees deal with the aftermath of the shooting. H-E-B spokesperson Linda Tovar says nothing like this has ever happened in an H-E-B store operation. The company will take strong action to uphold the safety and security of all H-E-B partners. H-E-B also plans to reach out to the victims and their families to provide assistance and support. The 25-year-old suspect remains in jail this morning, charged with 1 count of murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. Live at the H-E-B in Palmview, Gabriela Garza, Channel 5 News this morning.
A 17-year-old is behind bars in connection with the death of a man and his 3-year-old son in Rio Grande City. Starr County District Attorney Omar Escobar says Jesus Angel Rebollar has been charged with 2 counts of capital murder. He's been charged in connection with the death of 41-year-old Hector Garcia and his son on November 6. Rebollar was already behind bars on unrelated charges. He's being held without bond. A DPS trooper shot while patrolling the border in the Valley is recovering in a Dallas hospital this morning. The 8-year veteran and North Texas native was hit by a bullet in Fronton on Friday. A DPS spokesperson says a gun battle was happening in Mexico when he was shot. A Border Patrol agent wearing a bulletproof vest was also hit but not seriously injured. Officials continue to investigate. Now that the first case of locally acquired Zika is confirmed in Cameron County, getting funding to fight it will be crucial. As we reported, a 43-year-old woman in Brownsville contracted the virus from a mosquito bite. Before this case, the Valley only had travel-related cases. Channel 5 News spoke to County Health Administrator Esmeralda Guajardo. She says the county hasn't received any state or federal funding dedicated to fighting the spread of Zika. Guajardo says funding is crucial because the disease is expected to spread.
Federal officials are going to turn around and tell us, we may not need to send it because it's not that significant. But, when you have a long-term effect like microcephaly and we don't know whether the effects of Zika to what extent, then we need those funds.
Cameron County health workers will visit 110 homes located in the same area as the woman with Zika. They'll be asking residents for voluntary urine samples to test for the virus. Any positive samples will prompt a request for a blood sample for further testing. The county is paying for all the tests. Since the news of the Cameron County Zika case, officials at the Respite Center in McAllen are taking extra precautions. Volunteers at the Sacred Heart Respite Center care for hundreds of people who cross the border illegally. Sister Norma Pimentel says the center is prepared if they see someone with symptoms of the virus or with any other medical need.
Every family that arrives, when they come, if they have some medical needs, we have medical doctors that are, that are actually triaging to make sure that we respond to the needs that we see here.
Channel 5 News reached out to Border Patrol to see if they're testing people they apprehend for Zika. We're still waiting for a response. A new facility to house people caught crossing the border illegally will soon be built in Donna. The facility will be adjacent to the Donna Rio Bravo International Bridge. For now, the facility will be temporary and will hold up to 500 people. CBP says it'll be additional space for those in custody waiting to be transferred for processing, detention, and/or removal, or to the Department of Health and Human Services. The new building will be equipped with beds, toilets, and showers. A CBP spokesperson says the agency will be assessing the facility to decide whether or not to expand it or keep it operational. More traffic tickets are being issued as a result of more DPS troopers in the Valley. The troopers are here as part of the state's border security plan. Hidalgo County officials report more than 43,000 traffic cases in 2014. That number has jumped to nearly 56,000 in 2016. Of those tickets, the vast majority are issued by DPS. County officials say collecting payments from those tickets is a challenge.
The more recent the case is when we send the mailer, the higher the collection rate is. So if the mailers are recent, on recent information, we're getting like a 25% collection rate. Older cases are collecting at 3, 4, 5%.
DPS traffic tickets can be paid at Hidalgo County Justice of the Peace offices or online. The county also uses a mailer to collect payment. If you've received a ticket or missed your court date, the county issues a green postcard with the word warrant on it. After 30 days, the county can flag that person's driver's license. It is 6:38 as President-elect Donald Trump continues to fill his cabinet. He's also using Twitter to make some big waves. ABC's Janae Norman has the latest from Washington.
Yet another meeting with former foe Mitt Romney.
And I have to tell you, I've been impressed by what I've seen in the transition effort.
To the dismay of some supporters, Trump and the former presidential hopeful having dinner last night as the president-elect continues weighing who he'll pick for Secretary of State. His latest cabinet choices, Republican Congressman Tom Price of Georgia for Secretary of Health and Human Services. Price, an orthopedic surgeon and fierce critic of Obamacare. Trump also picking former Labor Secretary Elaine Chao to head the Department of Transportation. The wife of Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, Chao was the only member of President George W. Bush's cabinet to serve all 8 years. For Treasury Secretary, Trump picking his campaign finance chairman, Steve Mnuchin, who spent 17 years working for Goldman Sachs. Overnight, word of a done deal on one of Trump's big campaign promises.
Believe me, if I were in office right now, Carrier would not be leaving Indiana. That I can tell you.
Air conditioning company Carrier making a deal to keep its manufacturing plant and 1,000 jobs in Indianapolis instead of moving to Mexico. Trump tweeting, "Great deal for workers." This after one of the president-elect's first tweets Tuesday took aim at the First Amendment, tweeting, "Nobody should be allowed to burn the American flag. If they do, there must be consequences, perhaps loss of citizenship or a year in jail." That tweet setting off a firestorm on social media. The Supreme Court deciding 26 years ago flag burning is protected under the First Amendment. One of the justices who agreed, the late Antonin Scalia, who Trump has often praised. Janae Norman, ABC News, Washington.
The families of people who went missing in Mexico are visiting the Valley and Washington, D.C. this week. They hope to bring justice to their missing loved ones. Eddie Canales is with the South Texas Human Rights Center. He gave the families a tour of the border and of Brooks County. A group of mothers met with local consuls and community groups. They'll meet with embassies and nonprofits in Washington later this week.
We would like to get help to search and for them to find who's responsible for these violent acts. And we want justice.
Channel 5 News told you last month how the Tamaulipas governor announced a new task force dedicated to investigating the cases of missing people. The federal government is also involved. The group visiting says it gives them hope other governments and organizations will join the effort. We continue to follow developing news about thousands of missing and misprinted green cards. These findings came from an Office of Inspector General Audit last week. The Director of U.S. Citizenship and Immigration Services says they plan on implementing the OIG's list of recommendations by June. He addressed the report with a response saying in part, first, although the report correctly points out instances in which there were errors with the data on a card or duplicate cards issued, USCIS did not issue green cards to any individuals who were not eligible to receive them. You can see the full statement online at our website, krgv.com. There you'll also find the OIG recommendation list.
It's a little cooler this morning. Jackets, jeans, and t-shirts for the rest of the day. Temperatures right now mid to lower 60s across much of the valley, with the exception of the island and Brownsville, where you're currently in the lower 70s. Temperatures will fall another couple of degrees before we begin to warm up. We'll have a closer look at that forecast. Plus, we're tracking rain as we head into the weekend next.
Breaking news, breaking stories. This is Channel 5 News with Dina Herrera Garza, Alan Campbell, and First Warn 5 Weather with meteorologist Samara Kokinos. This is Channel 5 News This Morning. And now, First Warn 5 Weather with meteorologist Samara Kokinos.
We've made it halfway through the work week. It's Wednesday and your time is 6:44. Here is what it looks like outside of McAllen this morning. Absolutely beautiful out there. The sunrise on the horizon. Officially at 6:56 is when that sunrise will happen. But we do have a few clouds overhead. Those will continue to clear out. A good amount of sunshine is on the way. What you don't see from this picture are the cooler temperatures and also the gusty winds. So let's go back to the map. We'll start with the wind speeds. They're mainly out of the north-northwest, anywhere between 7 and 14 miles per hour. But they're gusting gusting a little bit as well. So when we put the wind gusts up here, you see Edinburgh gusting around 21 miles per hour. Same for McAllen. It's been off and on this morning. 16 mile per hour wind gusts in Weslaco, and slightly elevated in Brownsville near 22 miles per hour. And that's the way that this afternoon is going to shape up. We'll have elevated winds with wind gusts in the mid 20 mile per hour range throughout much of the day. So if you have a long hair or a child with long hair, do them a favor and pull it back. Right now, temperatures are cool, so you need a jacket. 60 degrees in Escobares. Good morning to you in Elsa, Sebastian, and Rangerville, where you're all waking up at around 67 degrees. Not a bad start to the day. You'll notice the changes. Dew point values have fallen, so we're in that dry category versus the muggy category. Dew points yesterday morning, 69, and this morning, 43, so that's a big difference. High temperatures today are going to be really nice. 74 on the island to 76 in Brownsville, 77 Weslaco, Harlingen, and Raymondville, 78 degrees this afternoon in Edinburgh and Rio Grande City, and 79 in McAllen. It will stay breezy, and then as the day goes on, it'll become a little bit less breezy. But we do have a small craft advisory to tell you about. It's for the Bay and the Gulf waters. The Bay, you'll be under that advisory through noon because of the rough conditions from those elevated winds, and through 6 o'clock this evening for the Gulf waters because of the elevated seas out there, 6 to 10 feet, and those winds could be gusting up near gale force. So please be careful the farther offshore that you go. Looking at the setup across Texas, here's our cold front, and it's still draped over much of the southeastern United States, but it's past us, and behind that, high pressure will settle in very, very nicely. Eventually, we have some changes coming to the forecast. So when you look at your rain chances, we're dry for the next couple of days, but then high pressure will move to the east, and then that's where we start to see rain chances come back to the forecast with a 40% chance for rain on Friday. And it looks like this weekend is going to be pretty wet too. So as we look at the future track model, we start the clock at 6. The cold front will move away from Texas. The cooler air moves in for at least a day or two, and you'll notice that it'll be a lot less humid too. So that's key to beautiful days here in the valley. Starting tomorrow, you'll notice an increasing amount of clouds because of that return flow coming out of the south. So with that also we have this developing system over in Mexico that will actually start out as a warm front as we head into the weekend. So Friday and Saturday look to be wet days with cloudy skies and around a 40 to 60% chance for those showers and thunderstorms. But then here we go, from that system a cold front does develop and move through the valley, and that'll bring a temperature dip on Sunday. So here we go. Here's how we're looking at today. 77 today, sunny, breezy, a little cooler, absolutely gorgeous out there. Is on the breezy side, but hey, lower humidity, beautiful. Then later on tonight, clear skies and cool temperatures right around 53 degrees. 7-day forecast looks a lot like this. 79 tomorrow, partly sunny, a few showers on Friday, 80 degrees on Friday, 81 for Saturday. But as we head into Sunday, look at that temperature dip. It goes from 81 to 66 there. Our rain chances will go from 40% on Friday, 60% on Saturday, down to 30% for Sunday. Gradual clearing through the early part of next week, with 73 on Monday, and then 75 by Tuesday. It looks like we have another system that'll arrive in the valley the middle of next week. Until then, it looks like we're on the rise, but we do have a wet weekend on tap. So please get those umbrellas and rain jackets and rain boots ready to rock and roll. You'll definitely need them. That's your updated First Storm 5 forecast.
Nearly half of Americans are on some kind of prescription drug, and that's leading to an increase in dangerous drug interactions. The story next. Welcome back, everyone. It is 6:51. An increasing number of Americans are ending up in the emergency room for dangerous drug interactions. Kim Hutcherson explains in today's Health Minute.
Dangerous interactions between medicines are sending an increasing number of Americans to the emergency room. That's according to a CDC study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association. Researchers examined data from over 42,000 ER visits in 2013 and 2014. They found that drug reactions sent 1 in every 250 Americans to the ER during that time. More than a quarter of those patients experienced effects so severe they had to be hospitalized. During the same time period, drug interactions accounted for 35% of ER visits among adults 65 and older. The last time drug reactions were studied, in 2005 and 2006, drug reactions only accounted for 26% of ER visits for that age group. Estimates indicate that 3 types of drugs led to nearly half of these ER visits. Blood thinners led to hemorrhages. Antibiotics caused severe allergic reactions. And diabetes drugs caused hypoglycemia with neurological effects. The study's authors said healthcare professionals should be more careful about managing patients who take these kinds of drugs. For today's Health Minute, I'm Kim Hutcherson.
And coming up, we have a look at all of the day's top stories, plus one final look at your morning forecast. We're back in about 2 minutes. Stay with us. Welcome back. It is 6:55. Right now, the HEB in Palmview is open for business. It had been closed since a deadly shooting on Monday that left 3 others injured. Channel 5's Gabriela Garza is live in Palmview with the latest. Gabriela.
Good morning, Dina. People still are making their way into the HEB store here in Palmview. After the shooting that happened on Monday morning, police say an employee walked up to the building and shot through the window, injuring 4 people at the time. The 25-year-old suspect told police that he felt that everyone was out to get him. Investigators say that paranoia led to the shooting. 1 person was killed, 2 others remain in critical condition in intensive care this morning. The 4th employee is recovering at home. We have learned HEB will have counselors on site to help their employees deal with the aftermath of the shooting. HEB spokesperson Linda Tovar says nothing like this has ever happened in an HEB store operations. The company will take strong action to uphold the safety and security of all HEB partners. HEB also plans to reach out to the victims and their families to provide assistance and support. The 25-year-old suspect remains in jail this morning. He is charged with 1 count of murder and 3 counts of attempted murder. At the HEB in Palmview, Gabriela Garza, Channel 5 News this morning.
And now for a look at what Good Morning America is working on. For that, we go to George Stephanopoulos. Morning, George.
Good morning. Coming up on GMA, those deadly tornadoes in the south. 3 people have died after one of the tornadoes ripped through Alabama. Multiple injuries reported as well after a daycare was totally destroyed. We're going to continue to track the path of the storms this morning. That's coming up on GMA.
You'll need a jacket outside this morning. Mid to upper 60s. Temperatures will continue to fall over the next couple of hours before we begin to warm up. Look at your dew point off the chart now in that dry category. North-northwest winds. Isn't it great?
Yes, it is.
The winds will be a little bit breezy today. Out of the north-northwest, 9 to 18 miles per hour, gusting in the 20-mile-per-hour range. And then we have another beautiful day tomorrow, 79, before the rain settles in for Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And that's all courtesy of the next front. Ahead of that, we're warming up to the low 80s. And then we'll be back near 66 for Sunday. As we head into next week, we'll see gradual clearing eventually, but for this weekend, I know there's a lot of things going on outdoors. You need umbrellas, rain jackets, and rain boots, just because your rain chances go from 40% on Friday to 60% on Saturday. So it does look like to be a pretty wet weekend on tap. So just be prepared for that and have everything ready to rock and roll.
And that's happening today. It could change tomorrow.
Right, exactly. You know, it's always subject to change whether or not we actually get a whole lot of moisture to build up that rain, but for now it looks pretty solid. So.
All right. Okay, thanks so much. And as always, we thank you for joining us. More news and weather headed your way in about 25 minutes.
We'll see you then.
Have a great one.
Closed captioning brought to you by Channel 5 and Clark Chevrolet McAllen.